Best part about failure? You get to make a new plan. What's up, guys? Jason here, and welcome to episode 23 of Building an Online Business from Scratch, where I'm showing you A to Z everything I'm doing to figure out this whole online marketing thing and put together a webinar sales funnel to sell coaching and consulting on the back end. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about failure as an entrepreneur, but specifically what to do when you hit those roadblocks or when things just don't really turn out the way you thought they would, and how to follow a very templated, rational approach to kind of to weed through those inevitable emotions that are just getting in the way of us thinking clearly and rationally, and figure out what the next best step is. So the big question is, how do you pivot when you've hit a roadblock, you've stumbled and fallen? How do you rationally look at, hey, this didn't work, what are we going to do next? Now, in the last episode, I just kind of went on a little rant because things didn't work out too well. Just to give you a quick background, I recently just finished my first round of Facebook ad testing, and that was just coming up with a very basic series of ad campaigns running to a landing page. And you know what? After $500, it totally blew up in my face. I mean, the results were not anywhere what I expected, and I thought I was being really conservative. So I'll definitely have a video later on after I fix the problem to show you what I'm doing on Facebook and what I'm doing with those ads and what I learned from pretty much losing $500 in a week, so about $100 a day. But anyway, in this video, since I haven't quite figured that out yet, I wanted to take a step back and show you the process that I'm personally going through right now to figure out what the next best step is. And to do this, I first want to talk about, how do you know when it's time to pivot? So there are a couple of key indicators to know that, hey, maybe we should take a step back as opposed to just kind of putting your head down and plowing through. So I want to go over those real quick, and then I'll show you the little decision matrix that I came up with to kind of figure out what to do or which path to follow. So number one, when you're looking at whether or not you should pivot, is to see if your direction looks mucky. When you look at your task list, are you looking at something? Are you looking at a series of things and just don't really know what to do next because you don't really have a clear goal anymore? Or do you look at your task list and just go, oh, I cannot believe I have to do all of this stuff? And if that sounds like you, then probably that focus that you had when you first started, because most of us, when we just get started, we have all this gusto, we have all this energy, we're looking at our task list as something to conquer, right? All of those things we just want to check off as fast as possible because we have a goal, we know where we're going, and we're just blinders on, going straight for it. So when that feeling kind of goes away, it's a good indication that it might be time to step back and look at what you're actually doing. And then the second big indicator is results. So hopefully in whatever you're working on, you have some form of numeric way of tracking your success. And if you don't, I want you to stop right now and figure out, what numbers can I use to track my success? The numbers can be number of opt-ins. If you're building a YouTube channel, number of subscribers you're getting, or it could just be how much time you said you're going to devote to something in a week, or how many tasks you're going to accomplish. Just something to keep you accountable and help you know whether or not you're getting closer to that goal. So once you have that, and I'll just go back to my Facebook example. If I think I'm going to start generating leads at $5 or $6 a click, which is around what I was thinking, and then I go and do it and it's closer to 15 or 20. Well, that is a really, really big gap. That's an indication to me that something is seriously wrong with my methodology, with how I'm marketing or positioning myself, or with the landing page, or all the other factors that go into the front end of advertising and driving leads to a sales funnel. So something is seriously broken. And when those numbers are really far apart, now if I had said, okay, I want $5 or $6 a lead, and my leads were coming in at $8 or $10, okay, that's just an indication that I'm close, but I need something to do. But 15 to 20, that's almost double or triple. Well, in that instance, it means that something's seriously wrong. I need to take a step back and I need to say, hey, how do I move forward and figure out what path I should really follow? And with that, I want to jump into my OneNote file now and show you a personal example that's going on right now this week, figuring out, hey, this didn't really work. How should I pivot? And then hopefully you can take the lessons learned from, my failure, right? It didn't work. So that's why I'm doing this, because I have to figure out, how do I pivot? How do I keep moving forward? What's the best way to move forward? So this dealing with failure doesn't mean you just throw up your hands and say, oh, I don't know, I just give up. That's definitely not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we're taking a step back and we're following a process. I mean, you can follow somebody else's process. This is just what helped me. Following a process that allows us to kind of push away those emotions, because this is our business, right? Having emotions, whether positive or negative about your failure, is just a part of being an entrepreneur and a human being. So pushing those things aside and kind of taking a top-down look and saying, okay, here's what happened, here's what I'm looking at, here are the different routes that I can take, and then more importantly, here are the different routes I can take, and here are how I can take those different routes. So let's go ahead and dive into my OneNote file, and I'll walk you through the example that I'm going through right now. Okay, guys, here's my OneNote file, and I know there's a lot going on here, so let me just briefly explain how I broke this down, and then I'll go through the two scenarios I have really quickly. So with failure, talked a little bit about this. The Facebook thing didn't really work as well as I thought. And so I realized that I need to extend the length of time, or extend the runway that I set up for myself for figuring out how to get those Facebook ads to work with the sales funnel that I set up. So at first, what I do is I come up with, all right, what are the three big paths I could take? Obviously, number one is just staying the same, staying the course, going the same way you are. Number two is an alternative, and then number three is an alternative. For time's sake, because I know I have a tendency to make these videos really long and go a little too in-depth, I'm only doing two here. So first, what you want to do is, I just made this table in OneNote. I have scenario one, stay the course, and then scenario two, pursue, whatever the secondary option is. And then within those, so those are the two big overarching options. So I have path one, path two. And then you look at those paths and you go, okay, there are different ways we could walk down those paths, right? So in scenario number one, I break it down into, you either have blaze a trail or follow a path. And this kind of gets into, blaze a trail means you're going to do it on your own. You're only going to use free resources. Follow a path means you're either going to pick up a course, or go find a mentor, or go pay for someone else to do it for you. So essentially, follow a path is going and dropping some resources for someone else to help you, either help you figure it out, or help you, or just do it for you. And so that's follow a path. And then blaze a trail, of course, is, I'm just going to be using YouTube videos. I'm going to be using blogs. I'm going to be using podcasts. I'm going to be using everything available to me that is free to just figure this thing out, which is the route I've been following essentially up until this point, with a few exceptions. I did purchase a couple of courses, which apparently haven't really helped with the Facebook thing. So maybe I'll blaze a trail. And then in blaze a trail, so you'll see here, I have blaze the trail, and then what's the action? Keep testing and experimenting with Facebook ads until you get the funnel to work. And this is under scenario one. So I know this will be a little confusing, but I promise it will make sense. So under that action, just keep testing and experimenting with Facebook ads until you get a funnel to work. All right, well, what's the best case? What are the pros and cons, best, worst case scenario? So the best case scenario, eventually I'll know how to generate leads on Facebook, and the income potential and scalability of the business is greater than all the other options and paths. Okay, that's great. But then I look at the cons. I could spend all of my money and still not figure it out. And then I risk public embarrassment because I'm recording these videos for you guys. So even though my subscriber count's pretty low right now, so hopefully not too many people would see,
there's that public failure aspect, not to mention family and friends who will eventually find out that I, wasted all of my money. And then of course, potential debt and savings issues because I'll have nothing in the bank because I will have spent all of my money trying to get Facebook to work. So that's a blaze the trail. And then that was the pro and the con. And then we have follow a path. So what's the action of following a path? Find someone to run Facebook ads for me and pay them to get leads. So for me, it could either, remember, following a path is either, getting a mentor, hiring someone to do it for you, or picking up another course if you think you need one. Personally, because I've blazed so much of a trail, I know another course is not going to help me because the courses I've already consumed aren't helping me. So I don't believe that there's, just one more course that's going to have that epiphany for me. I've gone through enough content to realize there's just something I'm not getting. So that's why I chose the action of following a path to just be here, hand it to somebody else. Apparently my AdWords skills aren't really translating into Facebook for this particular niche, even though I've been successful on Facebook with other niches. Anyway, that's beside the point. So best case scenario, someone else does the heavy lifting, and hypothetically I get to profit faster because the learning curve is non-existent. Now, worst case scenario, it's expensive because anyone who's going to be able to do this for me is going to be really expensive because they can get results, right? And there's no guarantee of better results. So I know that seems a little confusing, but the con is it's expensive because hypothetically they get me better results. But on the flip side of that, they could be really expensive and not get me the results that I'm looking for. And then of course I won't really learn, so I won't really figure out what I did wrong because someone else is just going to do all the work. And again, the big con, I spend all my money and I am SOL, right? So that's scenario number one, which is staying the course. And then I have two ways I could walk down that scenario or walk down that path, which is blazing the trail or following a path. So think of it this way. I have two different paths I can go down, and I can either have a guide with me or I can figure it out on my own. I think that's a better way to explain it. And then scenario two, since it's been so long, I won't, bore you with that one, but essentially I went through the same process. I said, okay, if I wanted to shift my focus to another business venture or look for another way to make income, then what would it look like? So again, I went through and I said, okay, what does this path look like? It would be a shift in direction, looking at getting AdWords clients and postponing the Facebook thing. But I make a note that I'd still do this YouTube series and, doing my social posts, building my personal brand. So that won't go away no matter what I do. When you're looking at this matrix, make a note of what you're going to do regardless. So there should always be some sort of base level action or marketing that you're always going to be taking to just grow your personal brand on top of whatever else the big kind of project you're working on. So again, I went through looking at blazing the trail versus following a path, and I did pros and cons of each. Of course, blazing the trail is, I just figure out how to get clients, on my own. The pros and cons are pretty similar to what was above, and then following a path would be potentially joining a mentorship program, and I'm looking at a couple of those, seeing if that might be a way to go. Of course, this is going to get a lot more in depth. I'm just giving you a super brief overview, even though I've already spent like 7 minutes talking to you about this. So I hope that is helpful. Really, all we're doing here, we're looking at those two paths, and then we're saying, okay, what does it look like if we just blaze our own trail? What does it look like if we go and get help? Whatever that help looks like, whether it's a mentoring program, a mastermind program, a course, or a book. Maybe you just go to the library and read for 5 or 6 hours and then figure out and blaze your own trail. Although I would put books under blaze your own trail because the investment in them is pretty low, just about as low as reading a bunch of blog posts. But anyway, that is my really simple decision matrix for figuring out, hey, I failed, and what are my options moving forward.
And that's my simple decision-making process that I came up with for figuring out which path to go down and how I should go down that path. Again, I don't have an answer to all of these, the questions I posed during, going through the OneNote file, because I'm still figuring out. In this series, I'm showing you the good, the bad, the ugly. This isn't something where, I edit it or I fail in one place, so I just record a bunch of BS videos for you until I figure it out, and then I magically appear again and say, hey, look, I figured it out. Like this is kind of the bad part. I think every entrepreneur goes through this part where they go, wow, we really thought this was going to work and it didn't. So this doesn't mean, it's over. It doesn't mean you throw in the towel. It just means we have to take a step back and look at, hey, how do we figure this out and what's the best way to move forward in the context of your business, your job, your family, your friends, all that other stuff. I mean, I would definitely recommend including, some personal aspects in those, decision boxes, figuring out how that would affect you on a more personal and relational level with, the people around you, because those people are important as well in terms of choosing, which route to go. So I hope you found this video informative and actionable. If you got some value out of this and you can resonate with, not always having things going your way as an entrepreneur and dealing with, potholes and roadblocks, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe for more business building tactics and strategies just like the ones covered in this video. Again, on my YouTube channel, I'm going from A to Z on how to build an online business from scratch, showing you the good, the bad, the ugly. This episode happened to be ugly. I mean, the first 20 episodes were pretty good because I wasn't running any ads to traffic. And as with most things, as soon as you turn that live switch on, you find all the problems wrong. So all over the next couple of episodes, be going over how to, do goals, because right now I'm going into 2017, what the best direction is. I'll definitely keep you updated on how the Facebook ads go. And then once I figure out how they work, then I will share it, because there's no value in sharing what I've done so far because it hasn't worked. So I could show you all the things that didn't work, but I'd rather be able to show you the things that didn't work and then how I fixed it and the things that actually works. So anyway, I will leave you with that. Again, if you got value, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then drop a comment below. What is your big roadblock as an entrepreneur right now? And I would venture to guess, if you don't have a big roadblock, that probably means you're not pushing hard enough, because I always know when I'm growing, I always seem to be hitting a roadblock. Those times where everything seems to be going right, I realize that I'm actually not pushing myself to the fullest potential that I could be as an entrepreneur. So until the next episode, keep building the business you love. Take care.